Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody. I can see that, wow, 13 of you is already here. Oh, yeah, it is a little bit of a surprise. We got a call from Brad just a few minutes ago. I didn't. I was
No, I
outside.
did. I was watching the Aldermans and trying to be a good uh,
Right.
moderator over there. And Brad calls, and I literally had to go get Danny like 15 minutes ago and tell him he's got to be here. And so we're scrambling to get the monitors hooked up and everything. So we're hoping everything is coming through. Can y'all hear us okay? Can you see okay? I know my glasses are doing a weird something, but
it ain't the computer screen. You have to.
yeah. And
we just need to know if you can hear us. Do we need to turn them? We've got some things turned off, and I'm not sure did I turn the wrong things off or.
Yeah, we need to know that everything's going okay and y'all are seeing us. We're live streaming. Hold on, let me see if we did.
We got them turned on. Turn this back on right over here. Okay.
Oh, loud and clear. Okay, so
okay.
Scratch says we're okay.
Okay, we were just curious. We didn't know.
Y'all guess what Danny was doing? I mean, this is South Mississippi. It is like 90-something degrees with 90-something degree humidity, 90% humidity. And this dude is out gathering firewood, okay?
Look, you got to prepare. That's what I always tell everybody. It doesn't matter if it's 100 degrees outside. You've got to prepare. And I've been out gathering firewood most of the evening, so.
And so he's hot and sweaty.
I'm hot. I don't even have a topic right now. I'm sitting here, my mind is going like 100 miles an hour trying to decide how I'm going to keep y'all occupied for an hour here.
Oh, and two, with Brad, now everything is okay. Just a little glitch in the family. Nobody's sick, and as he said, yet. And everything seems to be okay. He just needed tonight to deal with a problem. So y'all just pray for Brad and the issues he has, and we'll check with him later to see that everything is going smoothly. So if you got questions,
yeah, just
type them in all caps so we can pick them up out of the other conversation. And I see that Scratch is here, so we do have a moderator in case we need it.
So we need a moderator.
They can whack the trolls.
Let's see. Revelation Homestead says how to make sure you keep the home fires from burning in the winter. That's it. You don't wait till it gets cold to gather firewood.
Hey, Wayne.
That's always been my motto. I gather my firewood in the summertime. What I do is I drive around on my property with my trailer, and all the big oak limbs that have fallen out of the trees, I stop and gather up all these dead limbs, these big limbs, and I bring them up to the house. And matter of fact, there's going to be it's here. There's going to be a video. I'm going to show y'all how I cut my firewood up, my small firewood. So, but that's what I've been doing, and it is hot.
If I tried gathering firewood in this 100-degree heat, you'd find me passed out on the ground. Y'all, I almost found him passed out on the ground too. Hey guys, I see a whole bunch of you. I can't mention everybody, but hey.
It's good to see all y'all. I'm really glad that you come out.
And put up with us for another night.
Yeah, put up with us for another night, because tonight's going to really be a winging it night. So,
so if you have anything, hi Alderman. Sorry I had to dart out on you guys, but y'all were doing good. I just 15 minutes a little close. So.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying they gather their wood in the summer too. I mean, really, to be honest with you, that's what being prepared is really all about, is knowing when to do the right thing. If you wait till wintertime to gather your wood, you're going to have a hard time keeping a fire going during the wintertime, because that wood needs to be dry and seasoned real well. So, I mean, that's where we're at right now.
And this morning, we also got up some wood. We have on the house here some trees that grow and they get to the house, and ever so often we have to go out and trim limbs. And so he trimmed, what, 3 or 4 limbs off the
I had to trim some big limbs off of the house this morning, and we took those out to the barn and cut those up and brought them and stacked them in the woodshed. And so, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Oh yeah. If I'm going to take Brad's place, he would do this to me.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he would. I mean, he wore the overalls. He tried to impersonate me, so I'm going like, ooh, yeah.
Oh, this is it.
Oh yeah. We have a list here. There's nothing on it, but we have a list. Okay. So
yeah, empty list.
Yeah, it's called the empty list. We're not empty hammock, we're empty list here.
Yes. Usually we have a list, but in 15 minutes, that is all I could do was to get things together and us be live. And so I'm going to dart out for a minute. Maestro's going to take over. I'm going to get him something to eat. And if y'all will just let him have a bite or two every now and then, I'll talk when he comes back.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about something. I was asked a question about this. It's been quite some time back, and I told the person that I would answer it, and I'm not 100% sure of who it was because it's been a long time. Living Ready, I call this South Mississippi Stone Cold Water. It's my apple juice. But it's about being prepared for the right season when the right time comes. And I'm all about that. I guess one of the biggest things that I think about is people. I'm gonna give you a for instance. Let me do this. I'm gonna give you a for instance. Today we had a power outage that hit right in the middle of the day in the extreme heat. We were in the house here. The power went off, and I did not know if it was just my house that went off. You know, maybe a transformer problem or something, or a breaker issue. So I called my neighbor, who is a law officer, and I asked him. I said, dude, is your power off? He said, Danny, look, 3 major cities around us right here are without power right now. He said, the grid has been hit. And it kind of freaked me out for just a moment. And then I was like, well, and he kind of started laughing, and I was like, well, okay, you know. But he said, no, I'm serious. 3 cities are out of power around us right now. We're going, you know. So I was like, okay. So I sat down, and I got up to go get me a drink of water. Well, my pump is on electricity, and I realized I didn't have any water. And I told Wanda, I come back and I said, wow, I couldn't even get me a drink of water. And reality kind of started setting in on me. I told her, I said, well, you know, I could go get the generator and hook it up to the house because my house is generator ready. And I could turn the pump back on and I could get some water. And she said, Danny, no. She said, you couldn't because you haven't went and filled the gas cans up. And then reality really began to set in there for just a moment. I was like, you know what? I'm really not as prepared for this as I thought I was. So that was kind of a good reality check for me. I really realized that it doesn't matter how much we prepare. There's a good possibility that we're not as prepared as we think we are sometimes. Now, of course, we sit here for, what was it, about an hour?
About an hour.
About an hour before actually we decided to go sit on the porch. It was because our way of thinking was it's hot outside and the temperature inside feels like it's warm, but we went outside and sat in the extreme heat for about 30 minutes, and that way when we walked back in the door, it seemed like the house was really cool. And that's one of our ways of kind of helping ourselves to stay cool is we'll go outside in the heat and then we'll come back inside. And even though the house was 80 degrees on the inside, it still felt like it was really cool.
Compared to nearly outside. No, I didn't eat. I'm heating up some soup for him. He has to eat on a regular basis.
Yeah, I have what's called reactive hypoglycemia, which means I have to eat every 2 hours a protein and a carb, a complex carb, because if I don't, my stomach goes into fits and starts growling. I start getting extremely weak. I'll start shaking real bad. It's just one of them things that since they take my gallbladder out, it's something I have to deal with. So
yeah, and so he'll be eating some soup here in a few minutes. You have to listen to me gab for a minute.
Yeah, you can listen to her when that happens. But that's kind of one of those things. And somebody asked,
could you go into the storm shelter?
It's
probably about 70-something degrees.
Yeah, well, no, the storm pit right now, and it's 3 feet. The top of it is 3 feet below the ground. It is 80 degrees in my storm shelter right now because the air pipes going in is bringing the hot air from outside into the cellar. And even though everybody says that the ground temperature stays about 60 degrees. When you got 100 and something degree temperature going in with 100 something % humidity going into it, the cellar actually, about the coolest it ever gets this time of the year is about 75 to 80 degrees.
Yeah, it is cooler than outside because it is the way it's done, but it's really not any cooler than the house.
It's not. It's about the same temperature our house is on the inside. Yeah. And somebody asked me, could I talk about the greenhouse a little bit more? Wanda and I got up this morning and went to our other field of corn, and we had a lot of corn laying on the ground from that storm the other day, and we actually had to start cutting it off. The coons has actually found it and started eating some of it, so we went ahead and got all the stuff that was down and brought it up, and the greenhouse right now is just stacked full of corn everywhere, drying.
You will see the first part, we have it coming out tomorrow, yes, that we did a couple of days ago, but now the whole greenhouse is covered with corn. And probably tomorrow, if he doesn't catch a critter, there may be more.
There may be more. So I've got traps. That's one thing I did today. I went ahead and went down and I set my traps. Amanda's garden says you also have a high stomach gases due to no gallbladder. Yes, I do. And that's probably my killer right there. How does my food keep in those temps, Big Bear? It does okay, because what most people don't understand, what destroys your food is actually light.
And it's very dark.
And it is completely pitch black underground in that storm shelter. So if you keep the light away from your food, the temperature doesn't seem to matter that bad because it's actually preserved and sealed. Okay, Dana Ford, do you grind your own cornmeal, and what do you use to grind it? Yes, I do grind my own cornmeal. I grind my own grits. We grind our own flour. We have a Black Hawk antique hand grinder that you grind it with, simply because I don't want to have to depend on something electric if the grid goes down or something other. And I want to be able to still grind my cornmeal. I also use it to grind cracked corn for my chickens and all that kind of stuff. So we do use that. Okay, Big Bear wants to know, I can give you my bait recipe for coons if you like. We trap them with we trap some with live traps. I have steel traps set. We relocate them permanently so that they don't bother anybody else. I mean, we dispatch of them. I've been in touch with the Game and Fish Commission because they do have a rabies problem in Alabama, and they've asked me that if I caught one, could I get it to them to make sure that they could test them. And so far, they haven't come through on their end because I'm not transporting these animals anywhere. I just dispatch of them, and they told me that's perfectly fine to do what I had to do, that they would not be a problem if they were destroying my crops.
Yeah, we've got a couple. One said they were out 3 days of power last week due to a storm, and then somebody else says they live in a rural area where they have been without power for a month. Yes, you should be prepared because in this day and time, you don't know, because where I used to live, they do tentative outages. Yeah. And they may turn it off for 30 minutes or an hour. They may turn it off for 3 hours, and you don't get any notice. It just goes off, usually when you're trying to get ready to go to work.
And they usually hit some. Do they get vaccinated? No.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. I'm guessing you're talking about the wild animals. No, they do not get vaccinated.
No, they actually dispose
of them too.
They dispose of them too, but they want to test any.
And mother of many horses, we use coconut oil every morning on everything we cook. So yes. Coconut. We use the organic extra virgin coconut oil.
I don't think it has the word extra, just virgin coconut oil.
You sure? Okay, maybe it's just that. I know it's.
But it's got the word virgin in it.
Yeah. Amanda says her mother used live traps and then baptizes them. Well,
works.
It works for me, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm one of these kind of people. Wanda and I have to survive off our homestead, and if we lose anything to anything, I mean, whether it's a storm, an animal, or whatever, I'm one of these kind of people that I don't really have a lot of mercy. You know, I hate to say that because it sounds bad, but these animals eat my feed. They take away from us on our homestead, and it's money that we don't have. So
Scratch lost audio. So
it must be on your end, Scratch, because everybody else seems to be.
It's not raining or anything here right now. We did have a little bit of a sounded like thunder back.
Yeah, I mean it's
20 minutes ago, but it's fine right now unless we have something coming in.
Big Bear says he will have a predator control video out on Wednesday. We've done predator control videos ourselves, showing the different animals we catch in the traps. And of course, we don't show dispatching of them, but we do show the animals in the traps and how we are catching them. But like I was saying, I don't really show a lot of mercy towards anything that destroys our food source, because that is how we live.
And I'm with him. I'm not one of those women that says, oh, it's a poor little animal. No, I've been fussing at him for about 2 weeks to set traps because I don't want to lose this corn. This corn is precious to us and our animals. And I'd rather us have it or our animals have it than the coons and stuff out in the fields or the rats. We have a lot of rats that come up. So, does coon taste okay?
Or is it nasty?
It does taste okay.
It does actually taste okay. I've eaten it before.
I've cooked it before, but let me give you a heads up, just for these bags that you put turkeys in at Thanksgiving, bake bag or something, where you stick the whole turkey in it and you close up the end and bake it in the oven. That's how I cooked a coon one time, and it will fall apart tender.
Yes.
Now, I took one little bite and that was it, but you know, it tastes okay. I just the idea sometimes, but if you put that on your survival list for in case something happens, is those bags. And
you are right. Coon is greasy. I have eaten bear many times. I love bear burgers. It is a little bit greasy, but now since I've had my gallbladder took out, it might be a little bit of a problem for me to eat it. I don't know just yet. If they're having trouble with sicknesses, it's time for conservation anyway. That's right. Usually in the animal kingdom, when you have a disease move in, it's usually due to an overpopulation of them. So it's really a good thing to actually dispatch of them and take some of them out anyway. Okay, gosh, the things are going so fast, it's hard for me to keep up with them here. Cliff says, Granny can bake a good coon. Yes, a lot of people can bake good coon. A lot of areas require that wildlife be transported to rehabilitators. That may be true, but the way I look at it, what they don't know won't hurt them. Circle of life. Big animals kill little animals and tries to eat it for food. That is true, yes. That happens all the time. Yes, Brian, bear burgers are good. I have heard of people eating pulled coon sandwiches. I hadn't done it, yet, and I hope I don't do it. But Amanda says no greasy food, Danny. Been there, done that. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. If I eat anything greasy, it lets me know.
Doc says you'd look good in a coon hat.
Well, I don't doubt that. I would love to have one. I just don't have anybody who can make me one.
My dad had one, and he took a couple of years ago. He had it out at Christmas, about 3 years ago, I'd say, because he passed away a year and a half ago. About three years ago, he had that hat out at Christmas, and he was trying to get my little grandson to put the hat on, and they were scared to death of it. They were running all over the place. They didn't want to have anything to do with it. So those things can be scary.
Yeah, Doc says that raccoons and possums play hell with his grapes. They do the same thing with us. That's why a lot of people really get aggravated with us, but I usually leave traps set here year-round, and I usually keep them baited pretty much most year-round, because once you get a lot of animals killed out of an area, you don't have a lot of problems. I mean, we've eradicated, we don't have any skunks here hardly anymore. Foxes, I've pretty much gotten rid of all the foxes, and you hardly ever see a coyote anymore because I killed most of them. So,
Big Bear says you will get one for Christmas. Oh, somebody's gonna send you a hat. A coon hat?
Oh, I'd love to have a coon hat. I would
All
love
right,
it. And I'd wear it too. That's why I'm one of the kind of people I would wear it.
Michelle said that Jane Olome could make you one.
Yeah, if you could get a hold of John and get him to make me one, that'd be great. Because I've actually watched John make his hats before. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Grandpa said he's going to sing a song called, I think it's called a Toad Sucker or something like that.
I think it's on his channel. Grandpa, I went and watched your video today of you were walking around the place. I have to think because I saw several videos. But yeah, you were walking around Alaska. I really enjoyed that because I wanted to know what the terrain looked like there. And Big Bear says he's going to make it for you.
Oh, cool.
Him or his wife. I'm not sure which.
Okay.
He or she.
Okay, I'm not sure. Doc says, how far do you take? I guess I'm going to say that, we believe that would say them away. I just bury them.
Just be honest.
I'm just an honest person. Thank you, Big Bear. If you'll make it for me, I will sure wear it, and you'll see it in my videos. And you'll probably see it when I go hunting, too, because I wear it hunting. I've always been kind of a Daniel Boone and David Crockett fan anyway. So.
I don't know if
I only had a problem for a short time after my gallbladder was removed, and I was fine for eating, but I can't digest. That's why I eat coconut oil. Well, that's why I eat coconut oil also. I actually fry my toast in coconut oil every morning. Okay.
Grandpa says he'll do more walking around videos.
That's pretty cool.
And he did Pokemon. I mean, really,
yeah.
Grandpa, Pokemon? I mean, okay, so I just mentioned it on our channel, and I thought we were never doing Pokemon.
She told me we'll never do Pokemon on our channel.
I just broke my own.
Broke your own words.
I didn't even know one of my kids liked Pokemon like 20 years ago. And all of a sudden, in the last week, all I've seen on Facebook and anywhere else is Pokemon. And I'm like, really? What is this? It's coming back?
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy.
Oh.
He's waiting on it to cool off. That's why he's not eating.
She heated it up for me here, and I'm just waiting on it.
It's a little too hot.
It's a little bit too hot, so I don't want to. I don't like anything extremely cold. And I don't like anything extremely hot. So I'm kind of one of them happy medium people. I'd rather have it straight out of the refrigerator, to be honest with you. But
I can't do cold.
She can't do cold.
So I overheat sometimes.
Yeah.
Actually burn things on occasion, too. I mean, y'all think I'm this really good cook, but okay, sometimes I do let things go a little too far when I'm not paying attention. So
one thing I want to talk about for beginning homesteaders is I'm trying to throw these subjects up there that I've thought about. On a beginning homesteaders is a lot of people ask me, because we don't have an outside income, is how do we get all the projects done on our homestead here that we get done? One of them is we refurbish a lot of old stuff. I'll give you, for instance, if you look in the video behind me right here, you'll see the walls in my house are white on the bottom. That's actually plywood on the walls. I did that because I live in a hurricane zone. There's chair rail around the top of that, and then there's this fine base cap railing that I made these squares out of. That wood was laying in a ditch on the side of a road. They were redoing a house. And I stopped and asked them, could I have it? Because the garbage was just going to come by and pick it up. And I brought it home. I sanded it. I puttied all the holes up in it. And I primed it and put it on the walls in my house here. And nobody ever knows that it was not new. So
Big Bear needs your hat size. I told him about this big.
I don't even know what size I wear.
It's that big.
Do you want me to put a tape measure around my head? Is that what you're looking for? Because I don't know what size hat I wear. I'll be honest. Because all the hats now come with these adjustable bands in the back. One size fits all. So
it looks like everybody's playing Pokemon. I don't even know what it is exactly, but I'm seeing everybody saying that somebody's doing it.
Probiotics and chewing your food well will help reduce gas. Yes, and I've learned to eat foods that are not gassy also. And the sad part about it is a lot of those foods I really love. And every now and then I'll just break my own word and I'll go ahead and eat them.
Yeah, he does. And Doc is talking about a black bear at his house. No food there, but they still want to get in. we're finding that the animals, we have 7,000 acres behind us, and these animals just keep coming. And I guess it's because we have lots of food. And this year we planted all this corn. So, you know, once they just figure the corn's here,
Yeah.
they start coming. So we're looking to probably have some deer and everything else.
Everything. I mean, one of my neighbors saw a black bear here the other day in the south because the Game and Fish Commission has actually came in and released some black bears into this area to try to get them started back again. And for what reason on earth, I have no idea. But and it's also illegal to kill them. So
yeah, and so I'm also, we have a neighbor. How far is the guy that just started the alligator?
Oh, about 5 miles up the road, we have a guy who just started an alligator farm.
So now we're fixing to have alligators everywhere in the woods because there's no way he's going to contain every alligator there.
No, they got chain link fences around 100 acres, and they got all these catfish ponds out there. They wasn't selling any catfish, so they put alligators in there and they harvest the eggs and send the eggs off somewhere.
And it was really funny. We were talking to the guy, and Danny says, "Oh, so you're going to harvest the eggs?" And he says, "How is that going to? How are you going to do that?" And he says, "Well, they say." And Danny looked at him and just started laughing.
I started busting out laughing myself and said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" I said, "Stop right there." I said, "You just said 2 words that tells me you don't really know how it's going to go, and that is you said they say, which tells me you have not harvested the first egg yet." And he goes, "No, I hadn't harvested an egg yet." He said, "But we're going to see how it goes." So we'll probably have alligators in all the creeks around here now.
Wanda's getting some shoes and a purse. If an alligator comes across this park, then we're going to get some shoes and purses, I promise you.
Yep.
Or Danny's wanting a pair of boots anyway. He might get a boots.
Gator farms are nitrate generators, bad for the water supply. Well, they're about 5 miles from us, and there's 2 major creeks between us, so I'm not really concerned about that.
Watch the nitrates in your water.
That's
that's what you're reading. Okay. I recently saw a video of a gator climbing over a 4-foot chain link fence. How tall is that fence he put up?
He put up a 6-foot one. So.
And then he put something across the top too.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping none of the mamas get out. The babies is what I'm worried about. Well, if they don't get all the eggs.
If they don't get all the eggs, them little jokers are.
The baby's going to go through the chain link fence or something, you know.
Alligator is good. I've eaten alligator several times. It's a lot like frog to me, like frog legs. It's white like chicken meat, and it's really good. I don't have any problem. It's a little bit grainy. It's kind of like if you've ever eat elk or moose. It's got that grainy texture to it, but it's a light colored meat, and it doesn't have a bad taste.
Yes, and so they're all talking about alligator stuff. I'm trying to think what else we got going on. Oh, and talking about refurbishing things.
Yeah, the refurbishing the old stuff. Yeah.
While Danny's eating, when I came here, Danny had lots of wood in his attic. And a lot of it came from when Katrina, which was a major hurricane that come through here, it blew down so many trees. He took and had them all cut into lumber. And over the years, it's been more than 10 years now, he's gradually using the lumber. It's almost used up. But when I came here 3 years ago, there was a lot of lumber still in the attic. And he also, like he said, salvaged lumber from different places and stuff.
Yeah.
And so over the last 3 years, every project we've done, we've hardly bought anything as far as wood. Now, we may have to go buy certain size boards or something that he doesn't have. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of things we have to do. But primarily, we end up with very little in any of our projects. And one of the things he was talking about was learning how to save what you have on hand, like bolts and nuts. Say you have an old lawnmower and you're going to trash it. If there's bolts and nuts in there and you take it apart, save those because they may fit on something else. There's lots of things like that. Danny had a big container of bolts and nuts, and he still does, but he's used a lot of them.
Used a lot of them.
A neighbor will call and say, "Danny, do you have a bolt that'll fit this?" And he'll bring it over the bolt. He'll need a nut on it. And bless his heart, I don't know, at the times he's found one that will fit to help the neighbor out, which means that Danny has none after that.
I mean, that's I've given them all away, and PVC fittings and everything. I'm constantly giving all that stuff away.
Yeah, so we've got to collect back up, but for the most part, we've been having pretty good luck with the stuff he had stashed. He's like a hoarder, but he's a neat hoarder.
I'm a neat hoarder. Everybody needs a junk pile, but it needs to be done neat. I'm one of these kind that everything I do is extremely neat. I don't make a mess out of anything.
Yeah, Kara says she cannibalizes everything before she chunks it.
And Brian was asking a question. I want to get it before it gets too far away. No. Okay. Brian was asking, how high are the ceilings in this room here? The ceilings in this room, Wanda can turn the thing up. You see that?
They're that high.
We have 12-foot ceilings in this room. My house has 12-foot, 10-foot, 9-foot, and 8-foot ceilings in it. It actually has all those different height ceilings in it.
I hope I got it back.
You'll have to give it a minute to catch up because we're like 15 seconds behind.
So y'all will see it in a minute. You may hear it before you see it. I'm not sure. Neat hoarder, yes.
Yes.
You ought to see his shop. He has containers and they're labeled, and it says what are some of the topics that's in there? Certain size bolts are in one container.
I have tapered wood screws. I have panhead wood screws. I have any kind of plug-ins, receptacles, light switches, nuts, bolts, small stuff, like small nuts and bolts, large nuts and bolts, long nuts and bolts, lag bolts.
And he even has the different types, nails, and they're all
all my nails are labeled.
Then staples, different size fence staples, staples for staple gun.
Staples for good staple guns, staples for chicken wire, staples for field fencing.
He's OCD, yes, and so am I, which makes it really a bad combination because we're really OCD about so much stuff. But we don't throw a lot away. Our garbage truck barely gets, we do the Walmart bags, you know, and you know the size of those, and that's what we throw away every week, and probably 3 to 4 maybe.
Maybe 3 a week. We'll do 3 Walmart bags a week as our garbage.
And that's it. So we're not buying fast foods. We're not buying junk food of any kind. We don't buy boxes and cans. So our garbage consists of very, very little. And I mean, I was shocked because I came from throwing at least 1 giant garbage bag, if not 2 a week away.
Okay. Mother of Many Horses wants to know, can I do a video on how it's organized? It's actually, if you go back and look at some of our first videos, you will see the inside of my shop. It's called the barn.
The homestead barn.
The homestead barn, and you'll see the inside of it.
But you didn't go into too much detail.
I didn't go into detail. You can just see me pan around on the inside of it and see how my barn's laid out on the inside.
Yeah, and so he may have to at some point go in there and show you, but everything is laid out. It's not as clean and neat now as
Not now. I've got too many projects going on.
But he's got lots of projects. But and I'm a hoarder to a certain extent. But once I saw, I think it was Living on a Dime yesterday, talking about, I think it was her, if you don't use it, then get rid of it. Well, no, it wasn't. It was Doug and Stacy. Stacy was talking about when they moved into their little house, how they threw things away and how they weeded out stuff. And that's what we do. I'm real bad about weeding stuff out. If it's sitting there and it's something that we hadn't used in a while, it's got to go. So that's part of what, you know, we do. But I like to get rid of things when it's not useful. He still hangs on to stuff.
Well, if I think I can see a use for it, I'll hang on to it. So. Yeah.
And so he takes most anything apart. But if it's a fan.
If it's a fan, I take it apart. I get the copper out of it. I get the metal out of it. Everything goes into a separate pile so that once I get to a certain point, I'll take it off and get what money I can get out of it if I'm headed in that direction. I don't make a special trip, but.
Wanda collected Danny. Yes, I did. And
she did that. That's not a lie.
Tuesday is 3 years.
Tuesday will be 3 years for us.
Yes. And, but I'm bad about collecting, I guess, books. I collect I don't know, my herbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm bad about that kind of stuff. Even though I know I may not need a lot of it, I'm steady drying things and keeping it and packing it up. And for whatever reason, I've turned into a food hoarder. When I see stuff on sale, I want to get it and I want to pack it up. Even though, I mean, we may not need it, I'm wanting to eat it. And right now I have watermelon. I saw Mrs. Volte on what 1/2 acre homestead doing watermelon. She was drying it. So I've got my dehydrator now. We're going to see about how watermelon tastes after it's dehydrated. And this is a yellow watermelon. So
yes, just me and her. 112 says plastic peanut butter jars for bolts and nuts. Yes, that's what we do. We use coffee containers. It doesn't matter. We just
oatmeal containers.
Any kind of little small plastic containers. We put stuff in it that
and Mike Miller, he says he collects old tools. That's another thing on Danny's list is the tools. Old tools is one thing. He has his whole shop is full of tools that can be used without electricity.
I can do anything by hand.
It's all by hand. Pure Heart Farm says, first time watcher. Wife wants to know if you have any issues with neighbors. We have whiny neighbors who moved to the country from the city. Unfortunately, he's a cop. We have a neighbor that's a cop.
We have actually 3 neighbors that are cops.
Yes, within a half mile we have 3 neighbors, but one of them lives right across from us, and they're all good guys. We don't have any whiny neighbors. Our neighbors are good neighbors.
All of them but one that we know of.
Well, I've never met that one.
We've never met them. Other neighbors have had problems with them. We've never had any problems with them. But they say that they're kind of whiny. But
we don't have any issues.
But we don't have any issues with them. All of our neighbors around us are actually on board with what we do because they themselves do the same things that we do, just in a different degree.
Yes.
They all believe that something's coming and that everybody needs to be prepared.
Yes, and they all hold, well, most of them hold jobs. Most of our neighbors have jobs, so they're not homesteading, but they do prepare in certain ways, and they all look to us for information about when and what to do when planting.
They watch us, and when they see me in the garden, they know, or see me preparing my garden, then they run prepare theirs, and they watch and see when I'm planting and what I'm planting. They basically do the same thing. So, you know, I help them out. A lot of times I'll go plow their garden for them if they're at work and if they can't get to it, then I'll go do it.
Yeah.
I'll plow their fields or whatever, you know, try to help them out.
Deborah says she's stuck in the na-na land of internet. Yeah, that's where we're usually at. So I'm hoping y'all are just bearing with us tonight. And R.L. McCullough says, tribulation is coming. It is bad. I mean, but there's no reason to be fear factor, but keep your eyes open.
Yeah, don't be afraid of what's going on, because when I was studying the martial arts years ago, one of the things that they teach you is that fear will get you in trouble. You have to turn your fear into energy and use it to your advantage, because a person who's actually scared and afraid is very easy to whip, because they really don't know what they're doing with themselves, and they just react. So you want to keep a level head on your shoulders. And yes, we do believe we should pray for our law enforcement today because of what's been going on.
Yes, I had where I came from, the city I was in a year ago, we had 2 cops killed there in that city, and that was just devastating to here in Mississippi, because it's been happening all over the place. But I think it was about a year and a half ago, those 2 cops were killed, and that was really bad. And so we do feel for the people. One of them that was killed lived about a road over from where I lived, and I was friends with a lot of his family. So we do feel for these families, and all the aldermans. Tommy knew a lot of the cops that were involved, not the ones that were killed, but some that were involved. So y'all do keep all those people in your prayers for families.
Yeah, and there was a very important comment made there. No fear, just trust God. that's basically where Wanda and I are at now. You can ask Wanda, when I go into any situation, my eyes are everywhere all the time. I don't pay attention to a lot of people that's around me and what they're saying as far as conversation. I do listen to conversation. When I sit down in a restaurant, if I ever go to a restaurant, I usually go to a place and I sit with my back against the wall, and I'm usually close to an exit door somewhere. And if I go to a grocery store, it doesn't matter where I go, I watch every move that every person around me is making, just simply because that's how I was raised, it's how I was trained. And I'm the same way in the woods. Wanda can tell you, if I'm out in the woods and I'm walking through the woods, I may stick my arm across in front of you and say stop, because I've heard something that's out of the ordinary. I listen to the sounds that the animals make, because the animals actually tell you what's going on in the woods. I've killed many a snake in the woods just simply by listening to the birds, because the birds will tell you where the snakes are. And all you got to do is just follow the birds, and the birds will take you to them. And that's basically, just a little bit about being out in the woods and how to survive in the woods.
Yeah, and somebody asked where I was from. I am from Hattiesburg. The 2 cops were killed in Hattiesburg, and one of them was from Sumrall, and I lived in Sumrall for nearly 25 years, and right down the road from this guy. And somebody's asking, do you carry? Since he and I got together, he does not carry a gun. I do not carry.
Wanda come out of a situation that there was a lot of abuse with guns, and she asked me not to have a lot of guns laying around. So I don't carry for that very reason. I don't feel like I'll be honest with you, I don't think I need one, but
we're probably I'm getting to where I'm okay with it now. Yeah. So I think he's going to have to, because we killed snakes on the carport about a month ago, and so it's going to get to the point. And he saw armadillos yesterday, yeah, and we're going to have to get rid of some of these things because they're destroying things. So he's going to have to start toting his gun again. But I was really nervous about that to start with. I mean, I'm not going to go into all that, but
yeah. Seashells and palm trees say, can I do an update on the graft I did on my friend's trees? My friends was out here 2 days ago?
2 days ago, yes.
They came out to get some blue tomatoes from me, and they told me that 4 of the 6 grafts I did on their apple trees took, and the trees that I actually worked on for them, they said they had more apples on them this year than they'd ever had. So they're actually coming along pretty good then. All of my grafts have taken on all of my trees. I had the only thing that did not take for me this year was some of my persimmons. But everything else, the apples, the pears, all that stuff took. I had a 100% success rate on that.
Yeah, and the persimmons were wild persimmon trees. Tommy Alderman was talking about that a while ago. They found 3 on their place, but we have them all through the woods here. We're a little further south than Tommy. We're, 100 miles or so, 150 miles south?
Oh, no, we're about 100 miles, yeah.
Yeah, further south than Tommy. And we have them all over the woods here, but Danny grafted the big, giant Japanese persimmons.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted, was the big, giant Japanese persimmons, because we can't get any of the little ones for the animals.
The animals get the small ones as fast as they come on the trees. We've probably got 100 of the other trees on our property here, and the coons and the possums, they get them just as fast as they come on the trees and as fast as they get ripe. They're not going to eat them when they're green, because they'll draw your earlobes together. But, that's...
Yeah. JM in the Nut House, how are you? There's several new people.
You got several new people coming on.
Hey,
Betty
and
James.
James.
Church night. Okay, that's cool.
So several people are joining in. It looks like all of a sudden. But yeah, we just wanted to update y'all. Brad, everybody that's just coming in, Brad and his family are okay. It's nothing major, but it is an issue that they're having to deal with, and it came up right suddenly. So he'll probably update you guys on that later. All right, that's Betty. I'm trying to catch up with comments.
I'm trying to catch up with comments here.
Pure Heart Farm says, I have dwarf fruit planted 3 years ago. They're supposed to produce fruit 3 to 5 years, but they are not branching out.
I can tell you if they're inside a container, a tree or a plant of any kind will only grow to the size of the container. It is possible that the container is too small.
And it may be root bound.
It may be root bound because the container is too small. Peppers the same way, any tomatoes, anything like that. Trees, lemon trees, whatever. It all depends on the size.
Yeah, and Doc says his grandpa taught him to graft. The grafting is really, really crazy. I don't remember, we've watched so many videos, but somebody was talking about a tree they planted that had several different apples on the tree. We actually have a tree that is, what is a golden Dorset?
It's a golden Dorset. I grafted an Anna
and an
Ein Shamir onto the golden Dorset. So we actually have three apples on one tree.
We're going to see if it produces next year. It's been growing for a year.
Yeah.
About a year.
It's on its second year, right? Well, yeah, it's on its second year now.
All right. And Ginger Rose says she's eight acres outside of Ackerman. Okay, I know where Ackerman is.
I used to work in Ackerman up there. Yeah. I had a hunting lease. I was on a hunting lease up there with a preacher that lived on Highway 15 up there. I can't think of his name right off. I built him a little house. I used to hunt in the Ackerman Game Reserve right there after you leave out of Noxapater going north on Highway 15. I've hunted up there. I used to eat at the Catfish House in Ackerman there. They had some of the best fried catfish there. I mean, an old building there off of Main Street.
And I'm about to burn up and the air is going here. I don't know what's going on.
We got the ceiling fan turned off.
I'm used to having a ceiling fan, and we turned it off because it makes y'all
the one thing that chair over there is in the way of the fan.
No, it's hitting me.
Oh, is it?
I'm just hot.
Okay, grafting is not just about food and fruit trees. I have the most beautiful hibiscus that my dad grafted. Yes. You could graft a lot of things. You could graft tomato plants. I mean, there's lots of things that can be grafted.
Yeah.
I do a lot of grafting.
Yeah, and we have daylilies, and what do you call it?
I pollinate my daylilies. I create my own colors in my daylilies. Yeah,
I've got a bunch of different colored daylilies because he goes on, cool rag on your neck. Yes, well, Leslie left me, made heaven left me something I need to go get and put on my neck, I guess. It's hot. In the house, okay?
Yeah, that you just turned the unit down.
I did.
Did you?
Yes, and I'm still hot. Yeah, we couldn't go off grid.
Well, I mean, we have to turn the ceiling fan off to turn the top lights on, because if we don't, the ceiling fan, the shadows in here will make you dizzy and drunk.
You'll think you're in a disco.
Yeah, you think you're in some sort of a disco thing in here. So we have to turn the ceiling fan off when we turn the very top lights on.
Power surging. Okay, that's a new word for it.
There you go. Call it power surging. Yes.
Yeah, Deborah says, isn't nature just fantastic? Yes.
Yes.
I mean, that's one thing I love watching nature, and I do a lot of my videos on nature.
She does. Most of the nature things is her.
Yes, I go out, I watch animals, and I've got one coming up with our pigs, y'all. I've been playing around with my videos on that today, and I didn't realize I probably had 4 or 5 hours of these pigs running around, and I had to cut it down to 10 minutes. So, y'all, it was crazy.
Just me and her said he wished he could grab someone's wallet.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be great. Danny Wanda's Disco Homestead.
It would be, y'all.
It would be if you came here.
I'm talking with that fan and all it on here. It really looks weird.
Yeah, the persimmons. Now, if you eat those persimmons green, your earlobes will. I mean, it'll actually pull them together. I mean, it'll make you think they come together.
Okay, so daylilies are actually edible. You can batter and fry them. And then somebody wanted to know, how do you know which daylilies are edible?
As far as I know, they're all edible. You just don't want to eat a lot of them, because you can eat the tubers on the bottom of them. If it's like a life and death situation, you can eat just some of them. You can't eat like an overabundance of them. Don't forget the most important grafting. Make sure that you're grafted into the tree of the house of Israel. Yes, and I am grafted into the house of Israel. I am a seed of Abraham.
I have a hard time getting my bare root trees to survive planting. Usually I plant in the spring, and they they leaf out well the first year, but don't make it through the winter. They're only having 50% success rate. That's Pure Heart Farms. Got any advice?
Usually when that happens, there is a problem with what's called J-rooting, and that is when you put a tree down in the ground. If some of your roots go down, if the main tap root goes down and turns back up, that's called J-rooting, and a tree will live for about a year and then usually die. And that's a very common problem with bare rooting.
He showed me this year about that when we were planting, because I'm bad about just sticking a tree in the ground. And he explained about the J-rooting and how to make sure they're all laid out so that they have room to grow. They're not twisted and turned up.
Yeah, because it's mainly the main tap root, especially if you're planting like a little pine tree or something like that. Then, if that root comes down and forms a J and the tap's pointing straight back up, what it does is it tries to grow up and turn over and go back down, and it usually takes over a year for that to happen, and the tree will usually die the next year.
Yes, and they're talking about hibiscus tea. Jen, is that the tea I was drinking yesterday? I done forgot. I'd have to go look at the container, but yeah, if that was it, I was drinking tea yesterday that Jen sent that was really good. I had 2 glasses or 2 cups, and it's really some good tea, so y'all can try that.
Okay.
Now, the lumber. You were going to talk about
the
storage.
Yeah, for the beginning homesteaders, one of the things I told y'all a while ago, one of the things that people ask is, how do we end up getting as much as we do if we don't hold an outside job? The truth of the matter is, if I'm riding down the road and somebody's tearing something out, I always look at the salvage places. Or any piece of wood that is 16 inches long or longer, I do not throw it away. I stack it in my barn in order by lengths and stuff like that. And that kind of lets me know when I walk in and I need to do a project and I know I need a board, say, that's 24 inches long, I can automatically walk to a place in my barn and I know if I've got it instantaneously or not. So, I mean, that's another tip when you're a beginning homesteader. Try to keep everything organized so that you don't waste a lot of time trying to hunt something that you don't even have to start with.
Yeah, and Jen says mine was jasmine green tea. Hibiscus, jasmine, they're both flowers, but it's good.
It was. She said, yes, we do have rabbits.
Yes.
We have the white New Zealands. The only thing is we don't breed them in the heat because it would be too hot for them right now. And we don't really have the facility set up to the point where we can have fans blowing on them. I mean, we're trying to get to that point, and when we get to that point, we may breed them when it's cool.
Yeah.
Or when it's in the hot weather, we might do it when we do get the fans.
I have 3 mamas. I have two mamas we bought, and then we bought a male. And when we bought the male, I bought a baby, a small 6-week-old mama. She'll be a mama when we get to that point.
Yes.
So I have 3 females and 1 male.
Yes.
And we will start breeding probably September.
We'll probably start in September doing the breeding.
Yeah. Hey, kid, I saw you were on. They're talking about a book that Wayne's Homestead had that was talking about wild edibles and how to prepare them. So
we have a lot of wild edibles here. It's just that we have good knowledge of them, and we try to propagate them. We try to make sure that they're always growing on our homestead, so that in the event of a life-changing event takes place, then we know that we have them here.
Well, rabbits get warbles. I don't know what warbles is, so I don't know if they
I've never heard the word warbles mentioned. I've heard the word wolves mentioned, where the big old bare spot gets on and they have a worm underneath their hide. A wild rabbit will get that here. We've never had that happen with a tame rabbit, but the wild ones will get it. Okay. If that's the same thing you're talking about.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what a warble is.
I mean, everybody from different parts of the country have different words for different things.
Yes.
Some people say tomatoes, some say tomatoes, some say pecan, some say pecan. So.
And Donald says he's not breeding his rabbits either. It's too hot on the mama.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So that's just one of those things.
And the bucks would fall over with a heart attack. Yeah. No, they fall over anyway, but I mean, yeah.
Do you save seed from your heirlooms to grow your crops?
Yes.
He has several seed saving things
Matter of fact,
and we're doing.
I'm gonna take my plate to the kitchen right now and let Wanda just kind of chit chat with y'all just a second. I got to get my plate up out of the way.
And yeah, okay. So let's change subjects because I don't do seed saving and things like that. Well, I do. I helped him yesterday with tomatoes, and then today the watermelons. I did take the watermelons out, the seeds out, and before I started dehydrating. And mine would be, let's go on to cooking, because lots of people have done some of my cooking things. I like cooking. And I like to do things, but I get tired of it. So I know most of you guys would understand when it says something about cooking. But I don't, yesterday a lot of people would ask for recipes. And so I'm having to write recipes down because I just cook like my granny did. I throw in some salt and I throw in some flour and some sugar. And I did that today with Danny's apples. It's like an apple cake, sort of like a peach cobbler, but it was apple. I just throw things in there. So I cook on the fly. And so when I cook, it's just stuff. So now he's back. So
I'm back.
He's showing you his stuff.
I'm going to show you a little bit about, I was going to do this anyway, but I'm going to show y'all, these are some of the seeds that I saved here. These are the Amish paste right here. That's enough tomatoes there to plant for a city almost.
It doesn't look like
much. It doesn't look like much, but there's probably 1,000 seeds in that. I have Creoles here. This is some of our Creoles that we've saved. I have
You got 4 minutes.
Blueberry tomatoes. I've been saving some of them.
Who comes on next?
I've got the rose blue tomatoes. We've been saving them. We've got the dirt patch comes on there. Yes, cherry drops. We've got them. We've got Blue Bounty tomatoes. We've got them. I have my tender sweet orange watermelon seeds here. I have my spaghetti squash where we've been saving them. I have a little bag of the emmer wheat, the ancient Pharaoh wheat that we've been saving.
And right now they're in these are the snack size bags. So
yes.
Somebody was asking that.
Was asking how we store our seeds. We go to the store and we buy the little snack bags that's got the Ziploc tops on them, and we put our seeds in them once they're completely dry. That way they store real easy and we don't have to worry about losing any of them. Okay,
so we need to be going, so we're going to let him.
Yep, we need to be getting out of here because Dirt Patch will be on in just a minute.
Yes, Dirt Patch Heaven, and then Tommy at Off Grid Nation, and then
Joe from Homestead Economics.
So you guys, we thank y'all for coming. Check with Brad later and see what's going on, that everything's okay at his house. And
yes, Mike, they are all heirlooms.
And that way, let's have prayer.
Okay, we're going to pray. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for blessing us. And I just want to thank you for, Lord, giving us this opportunity to step in and help a brother out when he had an emergency. And Father, thank you for all the people who've come out tonight to listen again. And thank you for using us, Lord, for your kingdom. And Father, I want to pray for all the people that are on the channel right now and ask that you meet their needs, whether it be physical, spiritual, financial, emotional. Lord, whatever the needs are of the people that are watching tonight, I pray that you'll just step in and meet their needs. And Father, that you'll just give them all grace and you'll give them a comfortable night. And Father, if they work on jobs, I pray that you'll give them good jobs. And Lord, that you'll just bless their finances and bless their health now. And bless us as we all go our different ways tonight to watch our different channels. And Lord, I pray for the channel that's coming up after me, Julianne. I pray that you'll just be with her, that she'll have a good time, and you'll keep the trolls at bay. And Lord, that everything will go well tonight. And just I pray for Brad and Lord, for his situation that he's going through tonight. I just lift him up before you. And Lord, I just want to just pray for my brother and just ask that you just be with him, Father. Be with his family and all the things that they're facing at this very moment, Father, because we know that you're the God of all creations. You're omnipotent. You're everywhere at all times. And we just pray now that you'll hear this prayer and you'll answer it. In the name of our Savior. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep. We're fixing to get off here so you got time to get to Julianne.
And we will see y'all.
See y'all later. See you over at Julienne's. We can go over there.
Yes.